There's no way around this. Justin Trudeau is screwed. It doesn't matter what he does. Now, the best way that he can go about this is, of course, firing and or forcing House Speaker Anthony Rota to resign. That's the best possible case. Is he going to do that is the question. Well, a lot of analysts think that that is also the best thing, but no one really knows. We've seen Chinese election interference. We've seen Justin Trudeau almost go to a war, like a political war, a battle of words and a tit for tat kind of actions with India. We've seen so many things Justin Trudeau do where he shouldn't have done. In this case, we don't know if he actually will do what's right. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Today we're taking a look a little bit deeper at the whole Nazi situation, which is insane to say. I cannot believe there was a freaking Nazi in the House of Commons. And in light of that actually happening, boy, oh boy, oh boy, do I have a good announcement for you. Down in the description below, for a limited time only, I've only got 500 of these bad boys. I did not see that coming Justin Trudeau stickers. Oh man. Now, if you were a channel member, you would have had early access to this. I would have been posting it last night on my YouTube. You can't see it because it's for channel members only. So why don't you go down in the description and get yourself one, two, however many of these stickers that you want, because blackface, Hitler face, Nazi, doesn't matter. Justin Trudeau, of course, did not see that coming. Now, without further ado, I'd like to encourage you to give a like and subscribe if you haven't yet already. Really helps grow the channel. And let's get into a little bit of history with Justin Trudeau calling people Nazis.
Hopeful vision for public life isn't a naive dream. It could be a powerful force for change. If Canadians are to trust their government needs to trust Canadians. Those are the words of the Prime Minister in 2015. These people, very often misogynistic, racist, women haters, science deniers, the fringe. Same Prime Minister 6 years later as he fans the flames of an unjustified national emergency. So, Mr. Speaker, when did the Prime Minister lose his way? When did it happen?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Conservative Party members can stand with people who wave swastikas. They can stand with people who have the Confederate flag.
Well.
Who deserve to be able to get to their jobs, who be able to get their lives back. These illegal protests need to stop, and they will, Mr. Speaker.
I just want to remind the honourable members, including the Right Honourable Prime Minister, to use words that are not inflammatory in the House.
Right, not inflammatory, such as, how about in a year and a half from that moment, I, Speaker of the House, will personally invite a damn Nazi, a literal Nazi into the House of Commons. It's funny. It like just the comic value of karma going full circle. Not the fact that there was a Nazi in the house. That's not funny. That's inherently ironic, given that Justin Trudeau called Canadians, Canadian families, Canadian protesters, freedom people, anyone that stood up to government mandates using their voice with their using their Charter of Rights, saying, I am empowered, I'm Canadian, I'm a strong black independent. I'm just kidding. I'm a strong Canadian, and I can stand up and criticize the government without feeling like they're going to call me a bunch of names. No. Anyone who had hats like this, or shirts like this, or especially the stickers that I just mentioned at the start of the video, which you should go down and link in the description and totally get one for yourself. He called everybody Nazis, crazy people, conspiracy theorists. And then a year and a half later, he himself allowed a Nazi to come into the House of Commons. How ironic. This was so upsetting that he called a Jewish member of parliament, Melissa Landsman, a conservative member. He called her, accused her of being a Nazi. Then she went on to Fox News and had to clear her name because of Justin Trudeau's slanderous attacks. Let's take a look at that video.
How much hate has been directed at you and others who just believe in free expression and the right to protest, even take away concerns about mandates and the truckers and cross-border traffic? Set that aside. How much hate have you seen out there just directed at you?
Look, I think the division in this country is growing, and it's growing because of the Prime Minister's rhetoric on this. We've got an urban-rural divide. We've got an east-west divide, and that's being wedged by the Prime Minister. I'm the party's transport critic, so we've been calling to an end to these mandates, particularly the cross-border trucking mandate, since earlier this year. We've got one of the highest vaccination rates, and we also have we are the country with the highest, most draconian restrictions. So if he wants to end this today, he could have done that 19 days ago before putting forward a national emergency that is not justified. He could have gone out and talked to people rather than calling them racist and misogynist, and we could have put an end to this. He can drop the mandates and he can drop the restrictions today, and I think that we will.
It wasn't just
have a much
that,
more
though.
cohesive country.
It wasn't just calling them racist and misogynist. It was also calling them Nazis and accusing Canadians, your everyday person, of being a Nazi, when now karma has gone full circle. And I totally empathize with how many people this is pissed off and offended. This is a horrible thing. Through the sheer amount of horrid that we're witnessing, you can find a small light. And when you dig into that tunnel, there is a giant light that spells hypocrisy and irony, and karma is a bitch, Mr. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Here is what the Conservative leader Andrew Scheer has gone onto national television to now say about this situation. This is recent, as of today or yesterday.
Well, clearly the Liberals would like to whitewash this and erase it and pretend like it never happened, but it did. There was a reaction from around the world. Our trusted partners and allies looked at us with a great deal of puzzlement and outrage that this happened. So to try to, after the fact, pretend like it didn't happen, I don't believe it would be truthful and honest. I think the Speaker and the House and ultimately the Prime Minister have to acknowledge that something terrible happened. We can talk about how to address it going forward. We can talk about how to make up to the Jewish community here in Canada, what else we might like to do. But I don't think pretending like it never happened is a wise thing to do. This sounds very Soviet. It sounds like something that might happen in the Russian parliament, where they try to just erase someone from history or pretend like something that was said was never said. But in our country, we should acknowledge when something happens, and then we can talk about how to right that wrong going forward.
Yeah, the only way to right this wrong is if the Speaker of the House resigns, and you have everybody and their grandma in the House of Commons suggesting the exact same. Here we go.
Nazi received a standing ovation in this House. Today is Yom Kippur. The Jewish community, my community, is horrified. Only one office in the country is responsible for vetting visitors to this place, the Prime Minister's office. When the Ukrainian president, a head of state, addresses this House during a time of war, the Prime Minister's office is responsible for security, full stop. This scandal is entirely on the Prime Minister's office. Did they vet this Nazi and not care, or not vet him and are completely incompetent?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, as a Canadian of Jewish origin, I've shared very clearly with this House on several occasions how disturbing this event is for me personally, but I also know for Canadians who are Jewish right across this country, and particularly today on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, the Day of Atonement, as we prepare for the new year. This is particularly disturbing. However, I do have to correct my honourable colleague in the sense that the government was not aware that this individual was invited. It was completely the prerogative of the Speaker. It was his decision, and we need to make sure that the facts remain on the table. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, very good.
The Honourable Member for Charleswood St. James, Assiniboia Headingley.
Shame on that member and that government for not taking responsibility. The Prime Minister has the massive security apparatus of the state at his disposal, and yet a Nazi was honored in this place. I can't believe I'm even uttering these words, Mr. Speaker. Canada has been embarrassed around the world. Shame on this government for bringing shame on this chamber. My late grandparents are turning in their graves. A simple Google search would have revealed this person's background. And so again, did they vet this Nazi and simply not care, or did they not vet this Nazi and are completely incompetent?
the Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I would again ask the honourable colleague to stick to the facts, because we know, and he knows, because you have stated publicly and in this chamber that it was your decision to invite this individual, your decision alone to recognize him in the chamber. We were all caught off guard on Friday. Everyone in this chamber stood because we trusted the Speaker to know who this was, but at the same time, we must all take this seriously, and we must not politicize this. Communities are hurting, and we need to be there to be united at this time. Thank you.
Communities are hurting. When she literally took a photo with a Nazi person, and it's crazy what's happening. It's crazy. I feel like we're living in bizarre world, folks. I mean, she's asking not to politicize the situation. Look, stop politicizing the Nazi. And here she is with the House Speaker, with the Nazi. Stop politicizing this, would you? Let me get my photo up and move on. It's just a shame. It's a darn shame. And, well, there's one man, the myth, the legend himself, Pierre Poilievre, as English people say, or Poilievre for us Canadians, who just did not hold back in the House of Commons. And here's what he had to say.
Mr. Speaker, the question was for the Prime Minister, because indeed it is the Prime Minister's sole responsibility to guarantee the diplomatic success of major world leaders who come to this country. It is the Prime Minister whose government is responsible for both security and diplomatic vetting of everyone that comes in close proximity of a foreign leader on Canadian soil, particularly a foreign leader who is at war. The government has now admitted that they vetted everyone who was in attendance that day. Will the Prime Minister apologize for having vetted this individual and letting him come anyway?
Mr. Speaker, like all members of this chamber, I am incredibly disappointed in the fact that this individual was invited, as you yourself, Mr. Speaker, have confirmed by you, was recognized in the gallery. I found out, just like every other member in this House at that time, that this individual was present. This is deeply embarrassing for us as parliamentarians, as Canadians, and it is something that I think all of us take extremely seriously, and I would ask my honourable colleagues not to politicize this moment.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister is responsible. He is in Ottawa today. He can get on his feet and answer for his massive
he sure can.
Embarrassment and shame.
Stand up.
That minister admitted that the government vetted every single person that was here for the speech. That was the job of the government, which has an entire security and diplomatic apparatus set up for that purpose. Will he finally take responsibility for his latest embarrassment and apologize to Canadians for this massive disaster?
Mr. Speaker, as a descendant of Jewish Holocaust survivors, I am personally very hurt by the fact that this chamber recognized this individual. And I am sure that everyone feels the same way in this chamber. The Parliamentary Protective Service had the appropriate screening in place to ensure the security of last Friday's event, and that is what I was referring to, Mr. Speaker. But what I can continue to say is that we all must take this seriously.
It is the job of the Government of Canada, the Privy Council Office, which is the Prime Minister's personal department, the Prime Minister's security forces in the RCMP, to vet every single person that comes within proximity of a high-profile foreign war leader who is involved in a very difficult conflict right now. It was the job of the Prime Minister to protect that foreign leader from this massive embarrassment. If the Prime Minister failed to have vetting in place, then that in itself is a massive act of incompetence. Will he take responsibility and apologize for that?
Huge failure.
Again, ask the Leader of the Opposition to not politicize this issue. He knows just as well as everyone else in this chamber that the decision to invite this individual was yours, Mr. Speaker, and yours alone, that you did not inform the government or the Ukrainian delegation that you were inviting him or that you would recognize him. You made that public yesterday. The Leader of the Opposition knows that, and I would ask that he sticks to the facts. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
If the Prime Minister is so proud of how he conducted himself, he would be on the floor in the House of Commons today answering questions. Instead of hiding under a rock. Mr. Speaker, Canadians are sick and tired of a Prime Minister who never takes responsibilities for the things that happen under his watch, whether it's the record high inflation or interest rates or the doubling of housing costs or the constant international embarrassments. He always finds someone else to throw under the bus. Are you that person?
And the only way that this will get fixed is if the House Speaker resigns and if Trudeau starts taking a little bit more accountability. This is horrible what's happened, and we do have to approach this with a certain amount of empathy, although it is ironic. Not a certain amount. This is very empathetic. Like, a fucking Nazi was in Parliament. Like, this is insane. Like, for all we know, this person could have had direct contact with Hitler. Like, this is no joke. It's not some little ha-ha gotcha moment. There is that within, you know, everything that's happened, but that's not the main emphasis. The main emphasis is we need to fix this as a country. And how do we do that? Well, accountability is the biggest, most important first step to take. And Justin Trudeau, and in fact, the Liberals have had no accountability for anything ever, which is why you have the Prime Minister of the country wearing blackface. What other country leader have you ever seen that has done such atrocious acts who can still maintain power? None, because it doesn't happen except here in Canada. So, through the irony, through the sheer mockery of everything that's going on, might as well live, laugh, love, and go down to the link in the description to get your I Did Not See That Coming sticker. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this video. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe. Turn those post notifications on while you're there. It helps fight climate change from what I hear, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. If you want to support the channel financially, you can do so by checking out the merch shop linked right up there. Or if you want to do something for free, which is also absolutely acceptable and highly encouraged, you can subscribe right there. If you want to continue watching videos like this, you can do so by clicking or tapping right there to watch the next upcoming video. And if you want to watch a little bit of different content, but also Canadian stuff, you can do so by clicking right up there. That's my second channel, House of Canada, also known as the House of Commons Highlights. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.